What you're looking at here is a 1991 Emerson Fresco ceiling fan in the, I guess it's brushed steel, I think is something what it's called. Honestly, I don't remember. I have catalogs downstairs for this fan, but I don't feel like referencing them right now, so whatever. It has a textured black with reversible textured granite blades, which is the side it's facing down, the granite. So it looks like TV static. It's an absolutely cool finish. So this fan itself is just really awesome in general. Got this from another collector about probably 5 or so months ago. I think I got it in March. Something like that. Sounds familiar to me anyway. And yeah, so this was Emerson's first actual contemporary design fan they ever introduced. I believe they introduced it in either 90 or 91, and it didn't last until into 93. It was a very short-lived model. I guess it was just too ahead of its time. You don't see a lot of these. They didn't appear to sell very well. But it certainly does look like a very much 90s fan. It's just quintessential 90s. Out of this world-ism, if you will. It's very unique. It's more unique in the blades and arms, truly. The housing itself isn't super crazy. It's kind of a subdued, traditionally somewhat styled housing with some Art Deco kind of hints with the little rings, which are really just ribs. They're not actually separate from the housing. So we'll go ahead and start this off on low speed. This is the early standard flywheel era for Emerson. Obviously, they had only been making fans like this for only like 3 or 4 years by this point. They started in 1988 with the Premium and a few the Estate, I think, were the 2 models that came out. And the Legend, of course. So this was their idea of a contemporary fan, which, again, it's very nice looking. I don't know if I'll ever put a light kit on this because I don't have a lot of light kits that will really fit this in this color. So I think I'll just leave it alone for now. I think it's really fitting up here. This is installed in the upstairs game room. And I don't plan on replacing this until I move out of this house. So this will be a somewhat permanent install, at least from the time that I'm living here. So I like it. The low speed's nice and aesthetic. And we're going to go ahead and move up to medium. This can have 4 blades, but I have not tried it with 4 blades actually. I have no idea how it'll look. I think it'll look fine, but this is one of those fans where I actually think 5 blades is a little bit better. But I'm also saying this without having tried both. So I don't know. Since it is upstairs, I figured I'd use all 5. And furthermore, storing these blades is going to be annoying, so I figured, well, I'll either install all of it or install none of it. So here we are. It's got a slight bearing noise, but otherwise not bad. I mean, it doesn't really change the performance much. So I'm not too worried about it. Has an Emerson K55 in it, of course. And this is from the era of Emerson where you could actually mount Casablanca downrods to these, because they designed the top housing on this motor exactly the same as they did for Casablanca. The only difference is the way the housing itself mounts to the motor. I should say the motor end bell, that's the technical term for it. Obviously it has its own proprietary coupling for the downrods, since these use 1/2-inch non-threaded downrods, and Casablancas have their own system of this era. But if you take the coupler off, the screws line up to mount a Casablanca system on it. Which I did that with my Premium actually, because the downrod coupling had a stripped out hole for a set screw and would not tighten the downrod, and it wobbled like hell. So, alright, we're going to go to high speed now. This motor has a slight startup whine on it, which I really like. It's kind of subdued. It's a little bit quieter than the 88 Premium, but it's still there. And as per usual, it performs quite well. It moves probably 6,000 plus CFM of air, I would imagine, and it goes about 200 RPMs on high speed. This fan itself is constructed in very mixed forms because the housing is stamped, but the blade arms and badges are cast. Okay, the blade arms are, I guess they are cast, yeah. They're just very thin casting. And then the blades are okay. I mean, this era of Emerson didn't have the most amazing blades, but they weren't the worst either. This was that time period of Emerson where they commanded a first-rate showroom price and delivered the performance of such, but did not deliver the overall build quality of a first-rate showroom brand. It was a very odd period for Emerson that ended in like 95 or so, and they came out with the current, well, outgoing premium design, I should say, because it's obviously not there anymore. And yeah, so this was a weird period. They seem to have sourced a lot of pieces of various fans from Alaska / Shenyang, whatever you want to call it. And they just, you know, switch housings were a little cheap looking in my opinion. But that's just me. I still love the hell out of these things, and I hope to find more of these earlier Emerson products from the 90s and late 80s. Okay, earlier traditionally styled fan. Because obviously back in the 80s and 70s, Emerson was making fans that looked widely different from Casablanca's. And I guess the patent for this flywheel went up. I don't exactly know why they didn't start making this style of fan earlier. It might have been due to the flywheel design, or maybe it was something else, but Emerson was still very much in the weird drop flywheel game, or for the 1895, that strange thin metal flywheel as well. So their fans were vastly different. So this was the era where they finally moved into the competition ring truly with the big guys elsewhere, like Casablanca and so forth. So I'm kind of sad they didn't make this longer, and they did make an air design version of this fan as well as the 3-speed pull chain that you see here. I'd love to find an air design version someday, and I believe it had a different name. I think it might have been called the Kestrel, I think. Because for whatever reason, instead of having it just be named the same, they would name it differently when it was air design at this time. So, and I think during this era, the air design control was actually a Decora switch based system. It was very strange and unconventional. Similar to the way that flick mode operated, I believe. But yeah, so I'm really glad to have this. I've always wanted one of these, and I'm happy I finally have one. And I haven't really had a chance to make a formal video of this because typically the house isn't empty for very long, so that makes making videos of fans kind of hard, especially in a common area of the house, because no one else has any respect for this YouTube video of fan thing, so people will just go about their business in the house always. It's never changed, and talk to me, make noise, whatever, and just pretty much, you know, ruin the vibe. So that's part of the reason it takes so long for me to finally get videos up of fans I have, is because taking a video of it is sometimes a challenge. But luckily for now I have the house to myself for a little bit, and I'm taking advantage of that by filming the fans that I don't already have videos of. So that's pretty much it for this video. There will eventually be a video in another home where I put this up with 4 blades and a black blade side down to, you know, display all the configurations it can have. So I will close this video now and say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully there'll be more to come. Who knows? Anyway, goodbye.